Hello, friends. Mali Ponpadith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of SOAR Community Nebula. We have an attempt this year to interview 1,000 champions of change, change agents, community builders, fill in the blank, people creating some amazing ripple effects in our community and throughout society. And today we have a very new yet dear friend of mine, Kevin Monroe. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for joining in, however you're joining in, whenever you're joining in, because this is going to be a delightful conversation. Thanks, Molly.
You're welcome. Well, we start the interview by having you tell our audience who you are and the work that you do in the world.
Wow. So who I am, Kevin Monroe. The way I say this, Molly, is I've had a lot of lofty titles through the years. The titles I really love now at this point in life are husband, father, papa, papa to one granddaughter, Emma, and friend is how I like to think of myself. And that's what I really enjoy. So I am a relator, a relationship person in my work. I work as Molly said, a podcast host, a bridge builder, a leadership consultant and coach, and really do work around purpose, culture, and leadership.
Yeah, my kind of guy. My kind of guy. When in your life have you experienced empathy and compassion and love that came from a leader that really helped to shift the way in which you operate today? Can you share a story or two around that?
Wow. Yes. It's kind of funny that you asked the question, and I love the way you're asking it because, where my mind went initially. I don't want to go there, but I'm just thinking of all the times I didn't feel that from leaders. And so we don't want to focus on that, but it's just kind of funny that when you ask that question, I think many of you listening to this have probably had that same experience, that it's easy to list those times that we weren't versus those times that we have. So tell me, what was the question after the love, empathy, that it does what to us?
That it has shifted the way that you operate in the world, shift your perspective in a positive way, and helps you to lead your life the way that you're doing now.
Wow. Yeah. There's several that come to mind. There's some as recent as this week, but I'm not going to go there yet. That may come up. I think for me, yeah, I'm going to tie together two of these. One that was a negative experience.
Okay.
And that was when something happened in the workplace years ago. And I found myself with my direct boss or manager, sadly, not much of a leader. Let's be honest, not much of a leader. That I was in a really difficult situation, and this direct manager did not step forward to lead. But a dear friend with whom I had joined the company the same day, and we had gone through the ranks together and ended up in leadership positions, she stepped forward and said, that was said about Kevin, it couldn't be further from the truth. And, there's more to the story than is being told at this moment, and you need to get to the rest of the story. But the Kevin I know is, and she started elaborating those things, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, where my direct manager let me down, a peer leader came up and step up and spoke up. And that was like, man, that does endear you to someone, when someone really, and for me, so it was one of these really ugly things where some people had made some false accusations. And it was because they wanted They wanted a package from the company, right? An exit package. So they made me the target of how they're going to get an exit package. And what they said was just totally bogus. And I remember the day that my immediate boss says, well, gosh, Kevin, I can't believe this happened. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? It didn't happen, and that was the lack of leadership. But then this dear friend just said, there's no way that happened, and so it was that really stepping up in a time where the stakes were high. And somebody really showing love and just speaking about my character. So that's one that just comes to mind, Molly. Others that come to mind. And I do a lot of work with leaders. I had this conversation this week with a group of leaders and asked, how many of you can think of a leader who saw something in you that you had not yet seen in yourself? And they called that out. And so when I think of leaders like that, they're leaders that came to me early in my career and said, hey, I've nominated you for this position. I'm like, what? I wouldn't even apply for the position, because I did not see myself as capable of doing it. But there's a leader that saw something in me and said, yeah, I nominated you. You need to apply for this. And you apply for it and you get the job. And you're like, wow. But that's somebody seeing something in you. And to me, that's the essence of leadership. Seeing in others what they don't yet see in themselves and being able to call it forth.
You started answering the next question, really.
Oh.
And the next question is, when you think of a champion of change and a change agent, whether they're inside the organization that you worked in or whether they're out there in the community, when you think of those folks who are creating these positive ripple effects, what characteristics are consistent? What comes to mind?
Oh, wow. So, Molly, you will get this. I mean, this is one of those things because you and I just resonate on the same frequency. First off, there's positivity. These people have positivity. There is so much negativity in the world today. There's so much bad news, and there's so many, downers that just believe the worst, see the worst, provoke the worst, or call out the worst for themselves. And the people I know that are champions of change are positive. They believe there is a better, brighter future that we are all creating, and we're creating it through our actions, through our words, through our connections. And so there's this positivity. There is this empathy. There is this, what you were just talking about. There is a love. I am unashamed to use the L word and to say we need more love in the workplace. Love belongs in the workplace. And when people connect around love and create an environment where love happens, amazing things occur. And so you look at, you either have love or fear in the workplace. Those are the two primary emotions. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross did work on this. Two primary emotions, love or fear. So you either have a workplace that is paralyzed by fear or liberated by love. So the leaders you and I just rally around are folks that bring liberty to their environment through love.
Beautifully stated.
Never said it like that before. That's why I love these kind of
it's captured on film, so you can see it over and over again. Kevin, when you think about your gifts and your talents and all the skills that you have acquired throughout life, as well as the life lessons, how are you using all of that, the whole package of you, to shape a better world, to influence people, to create meaning, to give back to your community?
Wow, I love that question. For me, a lot of this happens just through the act of conversation, through very intentional, through very positive, and through meaningful conversation and conversations that are catalytic. But when you ask me, and years ago, I couldn't have put my finger on this. But when you ask me, what is my strength? What are my gifts, talents? Molly, I am grateful that I now understand that if my superpower, if I have a superpower, my superpower is caring, and truly caring for people, and the ability to connect quickly and deeply with people, and to make a very safe space to invite people in and have these very unique conversations. I mean, you've been a part of one of these. We started an experiment in the month of March, and we just did this an hour ago. We were wrapping up the fifth and final one of these. These were just what we called HumansFirst Hangouts, a place for people to just come in and join in a conversation. And that is an expression of my gifting in action, is this opportunity to quickly create a space where people, and we had people, every week we had people that were joining in for the first time. Some of them didn't know anyone else in the group, and they came in and they felt safety. They felt belonging. And so they were able to join in. My job is to keep the walls down and the doors open, to invite people in and allow people to feel that they belong, that they have something to contribute, to share, and to allow that to happen. And when we do that, Molly, amazing things just happen. Because we're just allowing people to let their brilliance shine and their beauty radiate. And there's no pretending, there's no posing. You don't have to show up and try to impress people, because what? We've created a place where you belong. And we all have that longing for belonging.
That's beautiful. And folks are dialing in from all over the country. They are sometimes in their car, sometimes they're in their office, sometimes they're at home, but they pause as they want to connect. It's especially in the world of executive leadership, the world of developing others. We do a lot of caretaking, give a lot of energy to listen, to try and help solve problems. And sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves, right? I think that's with every human being. But in the context of the professional world, when we give so much to support other leaders, we forget to lead our own path to clarity, to calm, to peace. And sometimes it's isolating and it's lonely. And it's nice to have a community that really, when you show up, they're not expecting you to show up. You're not expecting you to put your title on that you're the CEO of this or the coach of that or whatever. You're just talking about life. And it's so thank you for creating that. And thank you for, kind of taking that challenge on with Mike Vacanti with the Humans First experiment. It's really cool. So appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you said that some of the people, I mean, it was an experiment. We didn't know who would show up, but we started having members of the choir. We weren't trying to convert anybody to Humans First, but we were having people who were doing this work, and as you said, found out it's draining and depleting and takes a lot. And they were coming and saying, this is where I get filled up. This is where I get refired for the work I do. And wow, what an honor to be, the convener of that kind of space and that kind of encounter for people.
It's really neat. It's really neat. All right, next question. When life is hard and days are the rough ones, the tough kind, what gets you through? Is there a philosophy? Is there a motto or a quote that comes to mind that you can share with our audience?
I'm laughing because I look right over my computer screen, and I have been a quote collector for years and remember a lot of quotes, have collected hundreds, thousands of quotes, but there is a plaque on my wall that was the very first quotation. And this goes back to my high school years when I learned this quotation. And a few years later, someone gave me a plaque, and it sits there. Came from a gentleman, Jim Elliot, who died as a missionary, giving his life to a Central American tribe of the Auca Indians. He was one of the first to go there. But he said, the quote is this, and this is one of those: "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose." So for me, that's one of those, recognizing, hey, Molly, we're just stewards of what's entrusted to us. We are not owners of anything. Life is a gift. Life is a gift that has been entrusted to us. Our gifts, talents, and abilities have been entrusted to us by our Creator. So what do we do with that? And it's just this fact of stewardship. So there's so many others, I don't even know if we're sharing the video or just the audio of this, but you know the story. There's something you see in the background here, and it's something. It's 4 words that are written on a poster that my wife wrote and plastered on my office wall 3.5 years ago, and it says, "I believe in you." So I think there are times we talk about that depletion. I think there are times all of us are. I don't know. I don't want to put this on anybody. I'll just tell you it's happened to me several times where I've stopped believing in myself. Something happens. And for me, it came out of a period of sickness after some international travel. I came home sick, and I just fell into a period of depression. But it was just beautiful. One day I walk into my office and hear these words written on the wall, "I believe in you." And I think that's one of the things that's so important. We all need someone who believes in us. Even when life, hits us hard with something, we stop believing in ourselves. So that's a quote that means a lot to me, and I see it every single day.
Fantastic. All right. Final question. What does a better world look like through your eyes?
Wow. What does a better world look like? I'm going to close my eyes for a moment and just envision this better world. It's a world where everyone has the beauty of belonging, and everyone experiences the beauty of belonging. I think I said it. We all have a longing for belonging. Imagine a world, as long as you're not driving. If you're driving while you're listening, don't do this. Close your eyes. Imagine a world where everyone has a sense of belonging, where everyone has an understanding of the unique gift and talent they have to share with the world, and they have an opportunity on whatever scale that is, however small, however personal that is. The mom, the grandmom, whose only expression of the gifts is within an immediate family, that's beautiful. It doesn't have to be on the world stage like Mother Teresa, but it might be on the world stage like Mother Teresa, right? But just everyone that has an opportunity to share the unique gift that they have been given to share with the world. And that the world is a place where everyone feels this sense of belonging, and everyone knows the experience of being loved and giving love.
Wow. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. Can you please let our audience know how they can connect with you and reach out to you and chat with you and get coached by you, or however that looks? How do they find you?
Well, I'm findable at a lot of places, Molly. I have a website, kevindmonroe.com. You can email me at kevin. You've got to use that middle initial, dmonroe.com. I'm on Twitter at Kevin_Monroe. I'm on LinkedIn at Kevin Monroe. I won't even mention Facebook because I'm kind of fed up with Facebook, so don't reach out to me on Facebook. You can find me there. I just don't spend any time there anymore. And I host the Higher Purpose podcast. And, I invite you to join in and listen, because like you with this, Molly, we're building a community. This is not a megaphone for us just to shout. It's a platform for starting conversations and inviting you to respond and engage in conversations. And you'll see that's what happens on Twitter. That's what happens on LinkedIn. And gosh, you can call me. 678-744-5111. That's a U.S. number. But, I put it out there. Call me, 678-744-5111.
Great. Thank you again so much. Thank you for being a part of our global initiative to help highlight the great work that everyday people are doing to create a better society for all of us. And I appreciate all of your contributions as well, Kevin.
Thank you. And can I just say one more thing before we leave? Everyone has the potential to be that change maker. It's not just the folks that are on this end of the microphone, but you, wherever you're at, do something today that just allows you to be a change maker for someone you encounter.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, for those that are tuning in, thank you again for following us as we travel around the world, creating powerful stories, sharing powerful stories with you. Please remember to nominate yourself or someone in your community who's making a huge impact. We'd love to feature you. We'd love to talk about how you are creating those ripple effects and the causes that you care about. Okay, so please do so and visit us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you, and we will talk to you all very, very soon. Take care for now.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks for listening.